What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be spoiling Lock and Key Season 1, Episode 3. Last episode was pretty cool, but we got a key, but we didn't really get to see what it did. It looked like it was opening up some sort of party box, but we're going to have to see what that is in this episode. So let's get right into it. I'm Mr. Hanson, and this is Spoiler Alert. This episode started off right back at the party box, although it turns out it's not actually a party box and more like a box of stepping into Bodhi's head. I guess that's why they decided to call it the head key. Bodhi's head does have the lighting of an awesome party, but it also has all the toys a young boy could dream of. We see Bodhi pick up a toy that looks like a Jack in a Box, but when you expect Jack to come popping out, he doesn't. Instead, we get this memory of Randall telling Bodhi a bedtime story. Tyler and Kinsey join Bodhi in watching this old memory of their father telling Bodhi this bedtime story that apparently he also told Kinsey and Tyler when they were younger. But Bodhi falls asleep before the story ends, so the memory ends and we don't know what happens to the fisherman and the sea monster. Tyler says it's better that way because the story had a dark ending, but Kinsey disagrees and says it had a happy ending the way she remembered it. More on that later. The family heads to school to watch Tyler's hockey game, although Tyler spends most of the game on the bench, which makes sense because he's only been at the school less than a week. Ellie is also at the game. She and Nina make plans to go out for dinner after the game at some swanky Italian place. While at dinner, we learn that Nina used to be an alcoholic but has been sober for 6 years now. I don't know if this is important, but it may be worth mentioning for something that might happen later on in the season. We'll just have to see. During the two women's discussion, Bodhi's wild imagination comes up, and Nina tells Ellie about his imaginary friend in the well house, but Ellie's face, it seems like she doesn't think it's imaginary. She becomes very uncomfortable looking, like maybe she does actually know something, and the scene ends. Later on, Allie does sneak over to the well house, looks down the well, and starts calling for Lucas, and becomes very distraught when Lucas does not respond. So is Echo Lucas, or maybe one of the other people who drowned? At this point, I don't know, so we're just gonna have to wait to find out what's going on here. Okay, so it turns out that it's not a party box, that it's actually symbolic for the inside of Bodhi's head, and it still looked pretty awesome. I mean, it had a lot of cool lights, and there was some cool toys inside of there, and I think that inside my head might look pretty similar to that because I thought it was awesome. I thought I could have a lot of fun in there, so who knows, maybe. But anyways, we get the story and Randall tells them, and it's pretty interesting that Bodhi didn't get the end of the story because he fell asleep, but Kinsey's saying that it was a good story, and Tyler's saying it was a bad story, so I think we might get to figure out more about that in this episode. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but what about Allie? I mean, so Nina tells her about the lady inside the well, and Ellie looks uncomfortable. She knows something. And if she knows something like that, why is she letting her mentally disabled son hang around there? I mean, maybe it's not as menacing as we are thinking that it is, but it seems pretty menacing because Echo does not seem like a friendly type of person. And when she goes there, she's calling for Lucas, but Lucas doesn't respond either. So where is Lucas? I don't know, but let's keep it going and maybe we'll find out. Spoiler alert, we're not going to find out. Not this episode at least, but let's see. Let's check out the rest of the episode. After the hockey game, we see Tyler in the parking lot talking to Jackie, the girl that I suspect that Tyler is crushing on, and we finally have a name to put with the face now, and Jackie sees some dude creeping on Kinsey and tells Tyler that the guy is bad news. So Tyler goes over to help his sister out, but after a little banter back and forth with the guy, they start pushing each other, and Tyler ends up beating the dude up. And while Tyler was punching the guy, he envisioned his face becoming Sam's, and we may have learned a little bit about why this keeps happening. While sitting on the bench and waiting to find out his punishment, he has another flashback. This time, it's before Sam killed his father. Tyler is sitting on the bench, and Sam comes over and sits next to him. They're both complaining about their fathers, and Sam says he wants to kill his dad sometimes. And Tyler tells Sam that if he ever does, to also kill his father also. I don't know if this is why Sam said it was Tyler's fault, but it's looking like Tyler's actually holding a lot of the blame for his father's death on himself. While lying in bed, Tyler gets on his phone and starts creeping on Jackie's Instagram page and accidentally likes a pic, but he quickly unlikes it. But we all know that that notification has already been set, and trying to pull it back just makes it worse. We get another flashback right here. Randall telling Tyler the same story that he told Bodie, and Tyler was right. It did have a dark ending. He tells him how the sea monster killed all the fishermen except one, so that the one fisherman could live with all the guilt and pain of his past to remember all the pain he caused on everyone else, which seemed to be further to make us believe that Tyler had more to do with Randall's death than just suggesting it to Sam. The next time we see Tyler would be when he comes across Bodie's lifeless body. He thought Bodie was dead, but just when he picked him up, Bodie snapped back and explained to Tyler that he had found another key. This time, the key was found hidden in an old painting of their great-great-grandfather. But with the help of the whispers, Bodie finds the key and wastes no time finding out what it does. He puts the key in the door and walks through. His body falls to the ground, but his soul proceeds to go through the door, turning Bodie into a flying ghost. As if he's flying around, he sees Tyler, but Tyler can't see him, so Bodie flies off into the sky. While flying around the property, he comes across an old graveyard and he sees a real ghost. And it's the same man from the painting in which Bodie found the key. Bodie has a conversation with his great-great-grandfather, and the man tells Bodie how much fun Bodie's father and uncle had with the keys. But their conversation was cut short when Bodie hears his mother get home and decides he better get back. On his way home, he sees Ellie sneak over to the well, and he watches her as she calls down for Lucas. Ellie doesn't know Bodie is there because he is still in his ghost form. I'm not sure if Bodie noticed or not, but Ellie also had her own key that opened up the well house, and from the looks of it, it is one of the magical keys. So we'll have to see what this key does in a later episode. Okay, Tyler just kicked the crap out of that dude, and I don't know about you guys, but I loved it. Obviously we don't want to see Tyler get in trouble, but maybe it's like the Game of Thrones, Vikings, Walking Dead fan inside of me, but I like to see my team winning when it comes to fights. I know it was just a high school fight, but I was rooting for him and I was happy to see him win, because that would have sucked if we would have watched Tyler get beat up right now. But we didn't, and I know that there's going to be some punishment that comes along with it, but we'll just have to deal with it. But what is up with Sam keep popping back into Tyler's head? There is something going on here, and for some reason Tyler feels really guilty about his father's death. And I know that, like, in that scene, he told Sam to kill his father too, but I think there's more to it than that. There's no way that he just made a joking remark to Sam like that, and then Sam goes and kills him, and then Tyler's this distraught thinking that he is the actual cause of this. I do think that there's going to be more to this, but we're just going to have to find out. But we did get another key this episode, and of course that key was amazing. I'm trying to think of which key I'd rather have, that one or the anywhere key, and it's tough. I thought the anywhere key, I would want that, and there's nothing that would be better, but then this ghost key comes where you can fly and go wherever you want. That is amazing, and I think that I would have a lot of fun with that. I would just be going all over the place, and nobody would be able to see me, and I would just be watching. That sounds really creepy, but I'd be going to, like, events, you know what I'm saying, like sporting, whatever. I'd have fun, okay? That's all that matters. And we also saw this other key that Ellie had. She used it to get inside of the well room to speak to Lucas, who Lucas is dead. So is this a key that allows you to speak to dead people, or is it just simply a key to the well house? We don't know yet, and we're gonna have to wait to find out. Maybe we'll find out this episode, but I don't think so. No, we're not. We're not going to find out this episode. But I'm telling you, that is a magical key. You can tell by looking at it, had that old key look. So hopefully we're going to find out what's going on with that. But let's keep it going. While at school, Kinsey is approached by Scott, Mr. Perfect himself, whom at this point I still do not trust. His nice guy persona, it's not fooling me. Anyways, he goes on to invite Kinsey to a concert, but this wouldn't be a group event. This would be just the two of them although it's not a date and Scott classifies it as just a hang. But Kinsey has a lot going on right now, so she gives Scott a solid maybe. It would seem that Kinsey is struggling with this decision to go out or not, and she doesn't seem to understand her feelings. So she decides to get some answers. She is going to use the head key and go inside of her own head and see if she can't figure out what's going on. Tyler says he's not letting her go in alone and he is coming with her, so the two head off into Kinsey's head. Her head is not the ultimate party pad like Bodhi's was. Instead, her head was a weird ass mall. At least, that's what she called it. I thought it still looked pretty awesome. Like a good mall, this place was well organized and she was able to quickly find what she was looking for, the place where all of her memories of her father were. Inside this shop was a bunch of boxes, each storing a separate memory. She finds the bedtime story her father told her about the fisherman and the sea monster, and she and Tyler watch the memory unfold. She is right. The story did have a happy ending in hers. Everyone lived and everyone was rich at the end, and the sea monster was forever changed for the better. It was definitely a different ending than the one he had told Tyler, and we still don't know what kind of ending he was going to give Bodhi, but I'm sure at some point we will find out. Things take a dark turn though as the memory shifts into one from the parking lot when Tyler got into a fight with that dude. We see it from Kinsey's perspective, and the fight was a bit more brutal, and Tyler was more aggressive and angry in this memory. Another version of Kinsey appears, and we don't get a great look at her, but it looked like a dark version of Kinsey. The dark Kinsey starts to move towards them, and then she disappears, and we are snapped to a different memory. This time, Tyler and Kinsey are staring down at Bodhi and Kinsey, hiding from Sam. Kinsey talks about how much of a coward she felt like during this. And then Dark Kinsey appeared again and attacked Tyler. But Kinsey was not a coward this time, and she was quick to defend her brother and stab Dark Kinsey with a fire poker, sending her fleeing. Kinsey and Tyler returned back to reality, and the marks that Tyler received in the memory were still on him in real life. He became upset with Kinsey because whatever this part of Kinsey was, it wanted to hurt him. Something crazy is going on here, and that's for sure. Kinsey almost did go meet up with Scott. She made it all the way to the venue, but then had a change of heart. She decided she needed to step up and go take care of this Dark Kinsey, so she heads back into her own head. She must have found Dark Kinsey because we see her come back and she had Dark Kinsey's lifeless body. She takes her into the forest and digs a hole, stabs Dark Kinsey a few more times, and buries the body. The scene zooms out and we see Echo was watching this whole thing. She almost seems satisfied with Kinsey's actions, so we'll have to see how this all plays out on the next episode. So Kinsey was having a weird kind of day, but I thought she actually did really good this episode. There were some moments where, like when she was standing there with Tyler and she was being hard on herself for being a coward, and Tyler was sitting there trying to cheer her back up, and then like Dark Kinsey came in. Kinsey didn't even think twice. She grabbed that fire poker and she poked her and got rid of her and saved Tyler, because apparently whatever was happening in those memories was also carrying over into the real world. So I'm glad that Kinsey showed up and showed out and handled that. And then when she was going to go hang out with Scott, the trader, the guy that's going to be switching up on us eventually, I think I'm going to look really stupid if he doesn't. But anyways, she decides that she's not going to go because she's going to go deal with this Dark Kinsey. She's not going to run from it. She's going to face it head on, and she goes right back into her head, and she slays Dark Kinsey, brings her back out, and buries her. And Echo's just sitting there watching. Was it? I don't know, but what was up with Echo killing that kid too? I mean, every episode I need to be reminded that this isn't a kid show, and that was my reminder right there. We didn't actually talk about it earlier, but here, I'm going to show you guys a clip. It's playing up right here where she goes over to Chow's house. I believe that's his name. It's his last name, Mr. Chow. We'll call him Mr. Chow. She goes over to Mr. Chow's house, the one that caught on fire. He stuck the key in his chest, and then he glued and caught on fire and the whole house blew up. She goes over there, and she's obviously looking for the key, and she can't find it, and then that kid shows up with it on his chest, and then she just snatches it off his chest, and then she opens the door with the anywhere key and throws him in front of a subway and kills him. Like, I don't know what was up with that, but that was pretty jacked up. But she looked pretty satisfied at the move that Kinsey just made by killing Dark Kinsey. And what does that mean for Kinsey now that Dark Kinsey's gone? Does that mean she's going to be all happy-go-lucky and jolly and everything's just going to be perfect for her now and she's not going to have any fears? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out in the next episode. So make sure you come and join us for that one, because this is going to do it for this episode. Thanks again for coming and spoiling this episode with me. It's been a lot of fun. And if you want to, make sure you subscribe. If not, can we at least get a like? Let's try to get 5 likes on this video. If we can get 5 likes, that would be awesome. But that's going to do it. So, Locke Key, Season 1, Episode 3, you have officially been spoiled. So, till next time, peace.